finally, they have been banned, and I am so happy about it. Banned, banned, banned. Bravo, bravo. Welcome everybody, welcome back to Homestead Heart. And you all, yes, 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 it is finally happening. It is starting. The battle has begun, and I am here for it. Yes, I am, and I am putting my voice out there to be heard as well, because I have been talking about this for so long that I am so happy to finally see action. Lights, camera, action, right? What are you talking about, Mrs. H? Well, if you are not in the know, if you don't know it's finally happening, mamas all over are beginning to lift their voices in protest against the Kelloggs company. You know, Kellogg's, headquartered in Michigan, responsible for putting all of your cereals on the supermarket shelves. Froot Loops, Apple Jacks, right? All these fruity coloring cereal, your cereal bars, maybe even some snacks here and there. So what's the big hoopla? What is all of this about? Mamas are protesting. Mamas are protesting. Mothers are sick and tired of going to the stores buying a box of chemicals to feed their babies. They are sick and tired of buying a box of chemicals, right? Looking for natural ingredients to feed. Look, we are all on a journey to feed our families healthy. We want to live a healthier life. We want healthier options for us and our families. But the only way we're going to get it is not going to be sitting in a dark room talking to each other. It's going to be because we are putting word out there that, look, we got to stop taking this, right? We got to stop supporting this, right? If they're not going to give us what it is that we want to spend our money on, which is good, healthy, wholesome foods for our children, well, guess what? The best way to stop it is to hold on to your dollars. Keep them in your pocket, right? So mamas are beginning to protest. They're protesting Kellogg's in Michigan for better cereal options for their children. Now, many of you know that other countries have banned all of these chemicals that this country refuses to ban, and the FDA refuses to step up and do anything about it. The FDA is not actually doing research to find out whether or not if these blue colorings, red dye number 40, yellow number 5 or 6, are they really harmful to children? Of course they are. But there's money in these chemicals, right? There's money there to be made. So you don't want to really speak out against those who are in control of all of this. You really don't want to do that. That's a lot of money. So they won't. Even though I believe they know better. I believe that they know better. But they just won't speak out. They just won't come out against it, right? Other countries have banned it. Other countries have made it plain. No, not here in our country. You're not feeding our people this. No, we may as well line them up in front of the emergency room. Why wait? Right? Why wait? Does red dye number 40 cause behavioral problems in some children? Listen, you all, Canada, check this out. Canada has also banned these harmful chemicals. Kellogg's agreed nearly a decade ago that they would remove these chemicals from their cereals, from their products. They said that they would, right? And guess what? They did. They just didn't do it in the United States. They did it in other countries. They just didn't do it here in the U.S., right? They're giving other countries healthier options. But see, when it seems as though moms and dads in this country really don't care about what they feed their children, they'll just throw anything in front of them and put them at the table and say, here, eat this. When it seems as though the parents don't really care, then why would they change? Why would they make an effort if we're just going to keep supporting it anyway? So why would they put forth the effort to make the change in this country? Like I said, they've changed it in other countries. In Canada, they don't use red dye number 40 like they use in Froot Loops here. They don't use yellow 5 and 6 like they use in Apple Jacks here, or Froot Loops and other cereals that Kellogg's produce. They don't use these chemicals. In fact, in Canada, they use concentrated carrot juice. They use concentrated watermelon juice. They use concentrated blueberry juice. Some places use concentrated beet juice to get the deep red color for different foods that they want to add color to. But why can't we do that here? Why can't we use concentrated vegetable and fruit juices to color the foods that we are sending out, putting on the market shelves for families to buy and feed to their children? Why won't they do that here? Well, I don't see it such a problem. I don't know if the red 40 or yellow 5 or 6 is really a big issue. Well, the state of California thought it was, because they have banned these cereals in their public school systems. Did you know that? The state of California has banned these cereals in the public school system. Why? Why? So what should we do? What should we do, right? Maybe we should write our congressman. Maybe every person who cares from every single state should flood the offices of our congressmen regarding these chemicals in cereals and demand better options from Post, from Kellogg's, from, who was the other ones? Gosh, I think those are the two biggest ones. Malto Meal, right? There are so many others, but we should demand better options. We should demand healthy options for ourselves and our families. So if the FDA won't make the change, maybe we can go to our state officials and ask them to make the change, just like they've done in the state of California. So maybe millions of people from every state, from Georgia, from Texas, from Florida, from Louisiana, from Oregon, from Washington State, from Maryland, right? All of these different places. New York, we should all be writing our congressmen saying, we've had enough and we want these chemicals banned. So maybe if it's not going to be done on a national level, maybe we can invoke change state by state. Maybe we can invoke change state by state, because that's the only way we're going to force these big mega companies that's been around for decades and decades and decades. That's the only way we're going to force them to give us better. We don't want to fill our bodies with chemicals anymore. We want healthy alternatives. We want healthy options. We want better cereal bars. We want healthy cereal bars. We don't want all those chemicals in cereal bars, right? It's just about in everything that we purchase from the store. How about when you go to the shelf to buy a jar of dill pickles, or a jar of pickle slices, or a jar of gherkins, or whatever the case may be, pickle relish? Why do we need yellow 5 in pickles? Why do we need it in pickles? Why do we need yellow 5, red 40 in potato chips? Why? Why can't we just take it naturally? Why can't we just eat natural? Don't tell me it can't be done. Because you do have some companies that make potato chips that are all natural. You can read the back of the bag and it'll say potatoes and salt. Don't tell me it can't be done. You have organic cereal companies that you probably have to order online to get their cereals if you can't find it locally, because there's just not a big demand for it. It'll tell you what's in the cereal. All just basic ingredients. Oats, raisins, bran. It'll give you basic ingredients. Why do we have to have all of these other chemicals? We have to demand better options for ourselves and our family, and we have to demand better options for us as a nation. Because we should be sick and tired of medical bills. We should be sick and tired of making the pharmaceutical companies rich, because the unhealthier that we eat, the unhealthier that our children become because of all of the things that we feed them. You know, there's a thing called childhood diabetes that can be associated with diet because of what we feed our children all the time. Even as adults, some things, if we just would eat better, some things we can avoid, but when our options for eating healthy or slim, in fact, you know what I would like for you all to do? The next time you go to the market, pick any aisle that has processed foods. Any aisle. I don't care what it is. It could be the condiment aisle, the cereal aisle, any aisle, dairy department, baking aisle. Just choose an aisle. Because you know, in the baking department, you know, when you go to buy your cake mixes or the little sprinkles that go on top of the cake mixes, on the top of the cakes and donuts that you're making, look, just pick an aisle and look at the ingredients. And if you find those chemicals, that blue dye, yellow dye, and red dye, if you find it, post it in the comment section below, the brand. Of course, post what it is, but also post the brand. We want to know who make it. I guarantee you, you're going to be hard pressed to walk down every aisle and not find it in anything. It's going to be nearly impossible. So finally, moms are taking a stand, and they are protesting Kellogg's in Michigan. And maybe other parents will step up also, and it won't just stop with Kellogg's. Maybe it'll go to other companies as well, demanding better, right? And maybe your state and my state will follow California, because California has taken a bold stand in banning those cereals from the school system, the public school system. Banned. So maybe other states will follow suit And then maybe sometime in the future, if we see Froot Loops on the shelf, it'll be basic ingredients. Where the red Froot Loop is colored with beet juice, and the orange Froot Loop or Apple Jacks is colored with carrot juice. The blue is colored with blueberry juice, right? Look, we need to start demanding better. And I'm so proud of the moms in Michigan. I'm so proud of the moms in Michigan for saying enough is enough. I support them, I applaud them, and I am lifting my voice with theirs to say, feed our children better. Give us better options for our children. What child you know don't like cereal? How many adults you know that don't really like cereal? But why don't we buy it? Because we want healthier alternatives. We don't want all that sugar in the cereal. A long time ago, there was a guy who did an interview. He worked for Kellogg's. And I'm going to try my best to find that interview if it's still available. But it's been a long time. It's been many, many years. But he did an interview talking about, and he did the interview anonymously. He didn't show his face. His voice was disguised and all of that. You know how they do the whole voice thing so that you don't know who it is that's speaking. But he did an interview talking about Kellogg's. And in his interview, I think he said something to the effect of, if you only knew. He was talking about Frosted Flakes. He said, if you only knew what they use on those cereal, you would reconsider. So I would have to find that interview. I And I don't know if the interview, I don't remember. So I'm going to do my best to find it. Because these cereals have so much sugar on them. It's just too much. It's just too much, you all. So I applaud the women in Michigan, and hopefully we all will gather together our voices, and we will raise our voices with theirs to continue to bring attention to this so that we can have better options for our children, right? We're not saying that we want to get rid of Kellogg's. We're just simply saying that we want better foods from Kellogg's. We want better from Post, right? We want better from Nabisco. We want better from all of these brands that is going to be putting food out there. We don't want these things with these chemicals in it. We want natural food. We don't want bioengineered food. We don't want bioengineered crackers. We don't want bioengineered anything. But just about everything you go into the store to get has a bioengineered ingredient or a genetically modified ingredient inside of that item. You're going to be hard pressed to find that. And that's going to go from your processed foods, like dinner foods, like potatoes in boxes. You know, some of us buy, those scalloped potatoes in boxes. Some of us buy the pastas in the boxes with the sauce that you add meat to. Some of us buy these things. Look, read it. Read it, and you'll find that many of these items are bioengineered or have genetically modified organisms inside of that package, right? My fire went out. So you're going to be hard pressed to find it. So maybe this is the beginning of a new food revolution. Maybe this is the beginning of a new food revolution. And maybe if we all lift our voices in unity against this and we don't let it go. We don't let it go. Y'all know I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm talking years. I've been talking about, look, let's get better foods. with better ingredients. We don't have to settle for this, right? I'm always talking about that. So y'all, look, let's join together. Let's all lift our voices, because we can't let this just slip away, okay? We need to demand better, because the fact of the matter is, I don't have time to make Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal all the time. I make it, but I don't have time to make that all the time. I don't have time to go in there and roll all that, you know, put all the ingredients together, roll it out paper thin, and then go through and just do the perfect little squares. And, you know, that takes some time. That really does take some time, right? I mean, I've started doing it kind of like in a cinnamon roll kind of way, you know. You know how you season your, how you would prepare cinnamon rolls when you're making them homemade? How you put all of that inside, you know, and you roll it up into this big log and let it rest. Well, that's how I do mine, and then I roll it out flat so that I can cut it so that the seasonings is all through the dough and not just sprinkled over the top. So I've started doing mine a little bit easier so that it'll hold the flavor, but I control the sugar there, right? I control the sugar there. So it's not loaded with sugar, but it's still a very good cereal when I have time to make it. So y'all, listen, if we all want to make healthier alternatives and we have the time to do so, then fantastic, let's do so. But for the family who don't have that kind of time, because you got to get out of the door to job number one and try to be strong enough to make it to job number two, and in the meantime, you're either dependent on a quick bowl of cereal or something to feed your children before you get out the door, or when your children go to school, they eat cereal at school too. Sometimes for breakfast they have cereal and milk, but what kind of cereal and milk? What are they feeding them? Right? If they feeding them Froot Loops, well, you know what they eating at school. I can tell you who not feeding them Froot Loops. California is not feeding them Froot Loops. I can tell you who not feeding them Apple Jacks. California is not feeding them Apple Jacks. See, there's no need for Yellow 5 in Raisin Bran. Why do I need color in bran flakes with raisins? That makes 0 sense to me. I should not need a chemicalized color in Raisin Bran. One of my favorite cereals back in the 90s was the Cinnamon Life. And I haven't eaten that in a I don't even know when the last time I had that. But Cinnamon Life has yellow number 5. Why? Why does it need yellow 5 in that cereal? Y'all listen. Hopefully you found this information helpful, okay? And hopefully you'll share, and hopefully you'll start posting on your social media about the protest that's going on in Michigan with the mothers now fed up with the unhealthy options of cereals that Kellogg's has been putting out for decades, and mothers across the country now want something better. So you all, let's join together and lift our voices with those moms, because we all want better options for our children, okay? Thank you for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.